Welcome, everybody. Um, we really had a lot of good feedback and spurred a lot of just great conversations and whatnot with our community last week as we took a look at what were some of the key lessons learned on the desk looking back at 2017. So I thought this was a great idea, Bella, to do this next webinar following up on that. Let's look forward. Let's look at 2018. Let's look at taking what we can garner from looking backwards. Now let's look forwards and start to apply it and continue to grow and get better. Not a broker dealer here. Really excited about what Bella's going to have for us today. Where else can you come sit in on a free presentation and whatnot and get the type of quality information that you're getting from a professional trading desk in New York? So pretty good stuff here. So are you ready for 2018 is my question and challenge to you guys. Have you looked back on 2017? Have you come up with real plan of attack for 2018? What did you do really well in 2017? What did you do poorly? In fact, I would say that many of you, and there's no shame in this, but it just is what it is, many of you don't know what you don't know. So I really consider we do this once a year, I guess maybe twice a year, at least once a year. I really consider us doing this kind of a gift, really. It costs thousands and thousands of dollars to work with a mentor at S&B, to get weekly scheduled meetings with a mentor and get trade reviews and things like that from one. For $75, you get to spend an hour with one. This is a massive, massive discount to our normal going rate for mentorship. I have worked this past week with several of these kind of introductory meetings with people and planning meetings. And I can tell you on one end of the spectrum, we've got 7-figure traders looking to get better from far corners of the globe. On the other end of the spectrum, we've got, one I had last night with a guy where he's just really getting started. He's an IT professional and he has a real passion for trading, and he's been kind of building little bits and pieces, and he's really just paper trading over the past couple months and starting to kind of gravitate towards what direction he wants to go in terms of finding a niche and trading style. So I'm being long-winded here, but if you can't tell, we genuinely believe this is a really, really good opportunity for you, our community, to spend some time with a professional, have somebody help you figure out what it is that you don't know quite yet, whether that's on the preparation, review, process side of things, or whether that's around your trading edge in general and how you're going about analyzing markets, whether there's room for improvement there. So we'll talk about this towards the end of the talk here. But for now, let's let Bella take the horn here and tell us about what the desk is doing for 2018 to get better. And hopefully you can take some nuggets from this and get better as well.
Yeah, I'll just say the 4 goals that we have for SME training this year are to create really great content, really great trader training content, source talent for our desk. The home run for all of the stuff we're doing right now, things like this, is to find traders to back for our P&L proprietary trading desk. We want to build new and improve our existing training programs for independent traders and for developing traders, and we want to give back. And so the two prongs are going to be hit with this in this webinar today. So our goals for this presentation are to share trading lessons from our review sessions with traders from our desk for 2018. And so what we do, partly as Merritt was saying, is our floor manager, Carlton, and myself, we sit with every single one of the traders on our desk. Prior to that, we asked them to do a 2018 goals for their trading for the year. And we do provide a template for how to attack that. And guys come in to our conference room and they present to Carlton and myself their goals. We review them with all of our traders. And so what you're going to take away from this are lessons that we're learning working with our traders that you can turn into, some of them are best practices for you to incorporate into your trading, and some of them are ideas for you to improve in 2018. And so one of the unique things that we do, that we offer to the trading community, is that we're a proprietary trading desk, we're a P&L desk, we're working with people who go from new to seven-figure traders and better, which we'll talk about. And we're observing, who are these guys? What are they doing? What are they trading? How are they trading? And how did they go from new to seven-figure traders? And then also Steve and myself and Merritt are experienced traders, and we will share with you what we're doing and what we're trading and what we've been taught by the markets overall. We'll take your questions at the end of this, and Merritt, you'll jump in, and if anyone has any pressing questions, we'll get to it. So 2017 was a very strong year for us. I mentioned this last week in our webinar. I'll mention it again. I'm still proud of it. In this day and age where people were underperforming in the trading space because of low volatility, we had a very strong year. And that's unique in the trading space. As much as markets were strong, lots of people underperformed relative to the S&P or in their space. Things just didn't move enough, but not for us. And so one of the things that we learned from our 2018 review sessions was we want to be doubling down on team trading. This is a picture of one of our teams, one of our better teams. This is Team Swang. And Swang said something really instrumental during the middle of this year that I wrote about in one of my blog posts, and is something for us to learn from 2017, and something that was reiterated during our review sessions, which is he made more money because he embraced building a team. He is an experienced trader. He is a seven-figure plus trader. He embraced bringing junior guys under him, and because of that, he made more. Junior traders build filters for him. Junior traders ended up doing some research for him, getting him some shorts early in the morning to allow him to sleep that helped him perform better. Junior traders gave him some ideas. Some of the junior traders trade very differently than him and gave him a different perspective on how he ought to be looking at his particular trades. And that's important. I read Howard Linson is somebody whose newsletter I get in my inbox every morning. I very much look forward to it. Howard Linson started StockTwits, old friend of SMBs and myself. Brilliant guy, has lots to say about markets and investing and angel investing and trends. And he writes his newsletter, which I subscribe to. One of his goals last year was to write every day. And in doing so, he ended up creating this newsletter. And so I think this might have been, this was a newsletter that sort of stood out to me as it relates to team trading. And, Howard wrote, find mentors and groups that don't lecture, but lead by example. Find people that share and take responsibility for their ideas, and they do it consistently. More importantly, when you find that person and or group, be respectful, show some appreciation, and pay it forward. So what we're gonna do with our lessons that we're sharing with you guys is we're gonna role model. We're sharing lessons from people that are doing it as professional traders, and we're learning from them. They're learning from us, and we're sharing that with you. So we're going to be doubling down on team trading. And one of the things you might take away from this is, well, how do you get yourself in a group that's offering more value to you? How do you join a Skype chat that offers more value to you? How do you join a chat room like Merit runs that provides more value to you? And I would submit that that's something that we think a lot about here. We don't just have teams. We spend a lot of time getting the right people on the right teams. And so, if you're not on a team, that can be a very significant way that you can make progress going forward. If you're a trader at a prop firm, are you on the right team? Are you getting the right feedback and instruction and coaching and mentoring from your team so that you can improve the most? All right. So a second lesson that stuck out from our review sessions, I need to sort of take a step back, and I've written about something similar in the past, and now I guess I need to write about something different as well. So in the past, I've written about the green shirt, and the green shirt is something that new, developing, and consistently profitable traders strive to achieve on our desk. The green shirt is really an elevated level of trading, and the green shirt is making $1 million net per year in trading profits. Okay, that's not gross. That's not over the course of your career. That means in 1 year, after fees, you made $1 million in trading profits. Okay, that's a significant achievement. And this year, we've been fortunate. We have actually several people receive a black shirt, and the black shirt is $2 million plus net in trading profits, and that's harder. Green shirt is really hard, and black shirt is harder, and especially for the type of drawdowns and risk reward, especially for the drawdowns that our guys take. We're not hedge fund traders trading a $200 million book. I mean, that's quite a return on capital. And so one of the guys who earned a black shirt this year leads a team. And during his review, he talked about doubling down on team trading. This particular trader, this black shirt trader, so this is somebody who makes a lot of money. This is somebody that you might think at that stage is sort of putting up their feet or building walls around their business, how they trade, protecting it from anybody else finding it out so they can keep all of the crumbs. In this case, those aren't crumbs. That's a pretty big piece of red meat. I think it's a pretty big piece of red meat. That's what I was going to say. In your world, that's like shooting a deer, but that's pretty good. And so he's not doing that, though. He's thinking about doubling down on team trading, and that means specifically building filters for OTC by a junior quant. That means specifically sharing ideas with another junior trader on his team who became a black shirt trader. So one of the guys that he trained last year became a black shirt trader as well. Somebody sits inside of his team. And this trader working with junior traders to build models. And so if you're not on a team, we saw people do well. And the people that do well not only want to keep doing it, but they want to double down on it. The growth mindset to become an 8-figure trader. So one of our guys, another black shirt trader, this year, a former green shirt trader, improved enough this year to earn a black shirt, pretty comfortably above of $2 million net in P&L, and came in for his review, presented his notes. This is directly from his goals from 2018. My goal P&L wise is going to be the top trader at the firm every year here on out. This is a good way to frame it because it evens out for opportunity. Some years will be more plentiful than others. I'm still motivated by increasing my P&L year over year, but I don't want this to be the biggest motivation. So I do not let expectations in a slower market impact my performance. Bigger picture, I'm also thinking about making the incremental steps to be a $10 million a year trader. Quite frankly, I want to be able to say I'm right there with the greatest short-term traders in the world. The way that this trader got to being a seven-figure trader, to being a green shirt trader, was having a growth mindset. When he was making $4,000 a month, he wanted to make 10. 4 years ago, I challenged him to make $30,000 a month. And when after he made $30,000 a month, he wanted to make more so he could be a seven-figure trader. Now, after being a black shirt trader, he is not sitting back satisfied with how he's done. He's continuing to learn. And for him, that means expressing his best ideas more so in marketplace. That means trading bigger in size. That means drawing down less in front of trades. That means expressing ideas more with options. That means building models with a specific junior trader on his team so he has another source of revenue. That means working on all the things that go on into him performing best: his sleep, his health, his working out, his eating, all of it. And so when I read this, I was a little bit jarred, because I've always been impressed with this trader. But what I really love about it is that he's not just talking about making 8 figures. He's talking about making, and this is directly from his review, quote, making the incremental steps to be a $10 million trader. That doesn't mean he wants to walk into a big trade. That means he wants to do all of the things, pay the price to get there, to earn it. So one of the traders we met with said something that I pushed back on. He came in and he had 2 P&L goals. One P&L goal for whether or not the market was going to be as opportunistic for him as the end of last year, and another one for if it was just going to be normal market conditions. And so you heard the other trader talk about that. Certainly, we are beholden to how much opportunity is out there. You can't make a ton of money if it's just sort of not out there. But the type of trading that we do, a huge advantage is that we don't really need markets to go up 20% or down 20%. We just need stocks to be moving. And I'll just share the pushback with you guys was, this trader is the type of trader that can be better. And yeah, he had some pretty big months last year, but I know traders on the street. I know 3 of them. And in fact, one of them I meet with regularly every time I go to Chicago. And I said to this trader on her desk, I said, I know 3 traders who do what you do, who consistently make $600,000 a month. And they're doing it and have done it in market conditions that were not extraordinary. And you can do that as well. I don't accept that you can only make $4 or $5 million in a year if there is extraordinary results. I don't accept that. You can do that just doing what you're doing, but doing it a little bit bigger and doing it, expressing your edge in the stocks in play a little bit better, meaning be in the stocks in play on more days and be more efficient. Be in the high RVOL stocks a little bit better. The trader this year already missed a particularly huge opportunity in some of the pot stocks. And look, he makes a lot of money. He's up over $200,000 for the month, but he left $100,000 already on the table this month because he wasn't in some of the pot names right at the beginning. And we talked about some of the solutions to be able to make sure he's in those stocks. So we talk about opportunity, but for intraday trading, And for probably a lot of you at home, you probably can be making a lot more if you think about getting in your right setups a little bit more often. So the most promising developing traders show that they are self-aware. And I sat down with somebody who I like very much, a very ambitious new trader, just one of those guys you like talking with, really hardworking, really love his background, great person, good family, love having him around. And I sat there during the session, and this particular developing trader talked the entire time, and I didn't say a word. Which is unusual for me, admittedly. Merritt, I don't need you to chime in with that, which is a little unusual for me, I must admit. But there wasn't anything for me to say. This trader was incredibly self-aware about the things that he needed to do to get better. He was spot on. If I had written his 2018 goals, I would have wrote what he wrote. So there wasn't any reason for me to talk. And so, I just sort of sat back and listened. And he said, my 4 things I need to work on are, I need to narrow down those trades that don't work for me. I need to talk with senior traders on my team who are in the trades that I'm in. And, one of the guys who runs his team is a black shirt trader. I need to hit out quicker. I'm losing too much of my losers. And I need to tag the trades and judge my days on whether or not I took A+ trades and not many lesser trades and move forward. And that is exactly right. And I said to that trader at the end of it, I said, you're spot on. I love what your analysis is. And I got to tell you, when you work on these things, you're going to make a lot more money this year. I'll say it one more time. Promising developing traders show that they are self-aware. All right, expectations matter. So one of our really high Sharpe ratio traders, meaning his wins, his profits to drawdown are exceptional, came in, and he's very industrious. He's meticulous. He's conscientious. And he has this very specific edge in certain type of trading. It's undeniable. It's really impressive. And we all know what it is. Came in, he put his results down, and he essentially said, I want to make $500,000. And I looked at Carlton, and he looked at me, and I looked at Carlton, he looked at me, and I think he looked at me wondering why I was looking at him. And then I looked back at the trader, and the trader looked back at me, and he looked at Carlton. And I finally looked at him, and I said, you should walk around this firm thinking that you're going to be the next 7-figure trader at the firm. That's not puffery. You've earned the right to think that way. You've shown the edge and the ability to make that much more. I would submit that those of you out there with edge need to raise your expectations for yourself and your trading. Expectations matter. Another developing trader walks into my office, clearly has edge, doesn't make a ton of money yet. We'll call this double your P&L goals and come back. Writes out his P&L goals. I want to make $150,000 for the year. I want to make $20,000 for the month end of Q1. I want to make $30,000 for the month end of Q3, $40,000 a month by the end of the year. And I looked at the trader at the end when he went through all of his review, and I said, go back and do your review, double your P&L goals, and come back and talk to us. Expectations matter. Doubling down on our daily report card, it was very clear during 2017 that the best practice that had the most impact on our trading results was doing a daily report card. This was an exercise that Dr. Steenbarger recommended that we all do with our top traders. And he and I do this every day with our top traders, and it's expanded into pretty much the entire desk. Pretty much everybody on the desk does it. And I mentioned last week, this is an example of one of our traders doing a daily report card. This particular trader is focusing on sizing. This particular trader is working on getting big when he actually sees that he ought to get big. He's working on patience and aggressiveness. So this day puts up 75,000. For the month, he put up 775,000. So pretty good stuff. Great exercise. MVP on our desk last year. Create one goal that you want to work on each month. Intensively work on it. Create solutions to get better to achieve that one goal. Each day, grade yourself on how well you accomplish that one goal. And best if you're sharing it with like-minded traders. Work on this every day. Work on this every day. Solutions are going to come. All right, trading bigger. Responsibly, consistently, from measured edge and trades that highlight your talents. That's how you trade bigger. Great template for y'all to copy to try and get bigger. I would say that a lot of the junior traders who walked into our office, we sent back to work on something like this, a sizing template like this. We sort of, at the end, left it as, go back and tell me what is in your playbook. What are the names of those trades? What are the variables of those trades? What are your A-plus trades? How much do you want to risk on each one of those trades? How much do you want to risk next month in increasing your size for those trades? Where do you want to be in terms of risk for those trades for the end of the year? This is a sizing template based upon very specific edge that you have on very specific trades. And stick to your process. So I'm big on this. I don't, when I walk around the offices here, I like to keep things, I like to keep people focused. We're working on making sure people are developing best practices, that they're forming into habit, and they're working on them each day so they progress, and then we're patient. Your progress compounds day over day. But if you do not have a good daily routine, if you don't have best practices that are habits, and you're not getting the most out of each day, you're not going to experience that compounding interest of performance that really takes you to bigger levels and makes you a lot better than you ever could think. And that one trader who's now thinking about being a $10 million a year trader, not anywhere near 30, he was doing that. That's how you get to be in a position where you're a black shirt trader thinking about being a $10 million a year trader. If you're not doing that work, then you're an underperforming trader, or worse, a failed trader thinking about what could be. And on that note, Merritt, I'll take some questions.
I've been really attending to the questions the whole time, so I think we're good. But if people want to chime in and ask more, then we'll take them.
All right, great. Look, 2017 was a very strong trading year for our desk. We are very proud of that. Okay, I'm going to bang the table that we are very proud of it. But let me be clear. And we've challenged our traders to develop trading goals for 2018, building from 2017. We expect our traders to improve, and we expect our firm to improve as overall. I expect to have to improve as somebody who runs the firm. We expect all the people that support us to improve as well. And as I wrote in the playbook, my second book, you can be better tomorrow than you are today. As good as we were in 2017, we're putting in place the ways that we can be better in 2018. Merritt, I'll kick it back to you.
Thank you, sir. All right, guys. We kind of opened up the talk around what have you done, and I wanted to challenge you guys to think about, I should say, what was 2017 like? How are you leveraging what worked well, what you need to get better at into 2018? And do you have a clear vision with specific plans to get better this year? We're happy to help you with that. One thing we're doing right now is offering a one-time 1-hour session. You can only take advantage of this once per year. We don't allow people to buy multiple of these. As I said, it's just a huge discount and not something we want to be in the habit of doing often. But this is a form of a gift to our community that we're very happy to do, and it's been very good. Have a professional trader look at your trading business. By the way, there's no risk to this whatsoever. If you feel like your time has been wasted and you didn't get any value out of the conversation, it's never happened, but feel free and let us know. We'll give you your money back. It doesn't matter. If you ever decide to do any future official training programs with SMB whatsoever, we will apply that $75 towards that. So no matter if this works out really well for you and you want to train with us for some reason, or this works out horribly for you and you hate our guts, it doesn't cost you anything, essentially. So don't put in www, just go straight directly to smbu.com/2018, and you can take advantage of this offer. We're only offering this, I think, through the end of the month, so January 31st, and the offer is gone. We'll probably do it this time next year, December of this year or January of next year. So I know I sound biased or whatnot, but this genuinely is an unbelievable opportunity for you guys, and you should take advantage of it wherever you are on the spectrum of profitability at the time being. So we got some more questions coming in. After reading your book, One Good Trade, I understand the importance of trading the stocks that are in play. What did you feel were some stocks in play today?
Is that for me?
Yep.
So a couple of things. Big picture is whether or not the temporary budget is going to get passed. So you saw a little bit of weakness in the marketplace overall. It appears the House is going to be able to push this through. There's some open questions about whether or not the Senate is going to be able to do that. I'm just going to stop the sharing, if that's okay. So, for us, one of the stocks we've been trading, one of the stocks we traded today that was definitely in play was GNC. So GNC gapped up a bunch, had a big news catalyst, has a very high short interest overall, and was something that we were trading pretty actively today. One of the things that we've been trading one of the things I've been trading over the last couple of days is this Kodak, KODX. Another one of the stocks I've been watching is Watt. This 1780 level was pretty significant that we were watching. Some of the guys are hawking the pot names, looking for potential follow through. We can't trade directly Bitcoin, but we do trade Bitcoin futures, and we do trade one of the investment trusts that tracks the price of Bitcoin on OTC. So I thought Bitcoin reacted really positively yesterday. 10,000 is a technical level. It broke below 10,000 yesterday. Went down to a low of, it depends on which exchange you look at, but I was watching GDAX, and it looked like the low was about 9,335, and it started to create a nice wedge between 9,700 and 9,400. And when it got below 9,400, I thought we were going to go to 8,000. And I had been actually said, and I was sort of looking around, looking to put on more risk with Bitcoin and other Bitcoin stocks. So there are also some Bitcoin stocks, some real, some not real, that move based on the price of Bitcoin. And we didn't really go down that much. I mean, we went down to 9,000, which is not the down move that I expected, and you would expect for something to be really weak. And then it bounced, and it bounced all the way back up to 9,700, and then one even higher. And you can see today went up all the way to 12,000. And so one of the lessons from trading is that when something breaks down intraday but doesn't close below an important technical level, that and rebounds like that, that's not a form of weakness. The fact that Bitcoin got below 10,000 but was absorbed below there and then closed above 10,000 means A, 10,000 is a really big technical level, and B, it's still pretty strong. I thought that was a very impressive closing. You saw in some of the headlines in financial media places that Bitcoin was really soft, Bitcoin's really selling off, the twins are not billionaires. There was a lot of negativity out there. I thought exactly the opposite, that it took a bunch of punches to the stomach below 10,000 and held in wonderfully. So that's a level that we're certainly watching. That's something that's obviously really in play. So that's sort of what we're looking at. Some of the other guys are trading the stock ALB. I sort of stayed away from it. I didn't really see it. Juno's been in play the last couple of days off of a potential takeout, huge gap up.
Another question we got here: what does it mean for you to take one good trade?
Yeah, so I wrote about that in One Good Trade. So there's 7 principles to taking one good trade, and we talk about it a lot. To be more specific, you can go read that if you haven't. But to be most specific about what it means to me to make one good trade, it means I'm looking for something that's in play. Generally, something in play has a high R-vol, high relative volume. I'm looking for something that has a news catalyst in it. So there's a fresh news catalyst in it, which connotes that there's going to be follow through typically, and it will be directional typically. I look for a pattern developing in a particular stock that makes sense to me. So it's not enough for there to be a good pattern. There has to be a pattern that makes sense to you. So there's lots of patterns that you can trade. There's lots of setups you can trade. You got to sort of find the ones that match and mesh with your talent. And then I like to see it. So, and I would say one more thing is that I do like to develop a thesis for whether I think something's going to go up or down. But I like to see it from my tape reading skills, that here's a level, here's where somebody thinks it ought to go up, and here's where somebody thinks it ought to go down. And now it's above this level. And so now the majority thinks it's going to go up. And we've got this pattern that I really like, that I can trade, developing my thesis that this is going to go up. And we kind of go from there. So, a trade that I actually really liked today, it did not work, was in that Watt. 1780 was a double bottom over the last couple of days. It's a stock that I think is up way too much. And that's just based on the fact that it's from 4 all the way up here. I think it has some downside. It's on a medium-term level weak. Fell from 20, came all the way into 18. And that 1780 is really held in there. Got below that 1780. I added a little bit. And then I noticed that while the volume picked up in that particular stock, the R-vol was not there. The relative volume was 0.4 on the day. And so I was very cautious about, I didn't actually add size into a pop back up to 1780. I added some more when it got below 1780, but I did not get really big into that pop up there. And I took my stops and I brought them down because of the fact that R-vol was not there. If R-vol was there and R-vol was like 2 or 3 or 4, and the volume into that down move was what it was, I would have gotten bigger. And so I am taking my playbook, my second book, the playbook. I'm taking my playbook. I'm overlaying it into opportunities that I'm seeing with stocks in play, using my tape reading skills and levels that I'm watching.
Can you explain, about the shirts, green shirt, black shirt? In general, how long does it take traders to achieve those levels?
Yeah, I mean, probably 2 days. Probably guys.
Yeah, two and a
A couple of
half.
days. Two
You
and
got
a
to
half
get
days.
that half day in there.
Takes a couple of days. Get a black shirt. Yeah. Put on a couple of trades. Just get short Amazon. Buy some Bitcoin. What's the worst that could happen? Depends. It depends. I mean, I think it takes a good. No, one of the last guy who became a black cert trader on their desk. First year made 60,000. Second year made 200,000. Last year made over 2 million. Um, so it didn't made most of his 200,000 in the last month of the second year. So it depends on each person. I think we see outside returns in year three. We see guys be able to trade profitably and with some edge at 18 months to 2 years, certainly, and then generally a little bit before that. Generally a little bit before that. After about 8 months, they start to make money. Into about 18 months, start to get pretty good after 18 months, and then that year three where they're really starting to separate themselves.
All right. A little bit of time left here. Last year, my biggest challenge was fear of stocks with huge volatility, aka huge spreads. I'd like to work on these trades in 18. How do I work around these trades, these spreads? Any thoughts on in-play stocks with huge spreads?
Well, those are different thoughts. So there's a difference between something with a huge spread and something with huge volatility. It may be that you don't like to trade stocks that are particularly volatile, and if that's the case, you shouldn't. That may be you just aren't comfortable with the way that they move. So generally what people do in more volatile names is they trade with less size, and they tend to trade more swing trades so that they're in real trades. So they slow down the trade. It's a longer time frame trade, and they trade with smaller size. Whenever you're testing out a new type of strategy, you want to be doing it with very little size, and you should not be risking a lot until you show that you actually can make money with a particular type of setup. The analogy that I use is that if one of your friends came to you and said, "I'd like you to invest $100,000 into my new business," I think you'd ask a lot of questions, and you'd like to see some results. You'd like to look at the business model. You'd like to see that there's testing that goes into this idea, or else you wouldn't give that person the money. You should have tested your ideas and shown promise before you sink a lot of money into it. All right, young fella, I got to go home and take care of my kids.
All right, guys. Well, like we talked about, smbu.com/2018. Go have a look. Come spend some actual time with us, whether you can drop by our office and spend an hour with us, or we'll do a webcast like this and spend an hour together. But really encourage you guys to take advantage of that opportunity. Thanks, Bella, for the time today and sharing the knowledge as always. We'll see you guys around.